Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to day 5 of our Golden Triangle tour of India in collaboration with our good friends and partners at Sita India and Taj Hotels. Here at Low Season Traveller, we know that we can't travel anywhere just now, but we can plan and dream and be inspired as we research places which we'd like to visit in the future. And this is what we're aiming to do all this week. So you're all very welcome to this first special series which we've prepared for you. So all this week, we're learning a little more about one of the most sought-after bucket list experiences as we discover what you can expect from the Golden Triangle Tour of India. Every day, we've been going live at 2 p.m. GMT for about 15 minutes as we speak to our highly experienced tour guide of over 20 years, Mr. Anil Bahal, to learn more about what you'll experience in each destination on this bucket list tour of India during the low season months. The tour that we're following is featured on the lowseasontraveller.com website, and we'll be unveiling our special low season prices and special offers on Sunday the 31st at 2 o'clock during our final show. So for now, let's crack on with the tour as we today fly south and head on to the home of Bollywood and the gateway of India, Mumbai. So then days 8 to 10, we head over to Mumbai. Now, again, just for our viewers that may or may not be aware, we've got to do a short flight here, haven't we? How long is the flight from Udaipur to Mumbai?
It's approximately, say, because these airlines keep a buffer time, to ensure that they always have an on-time arrival.
Yep.
The actual flying time is approximately an hour and a half, but they say an hour and 50 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
It varies, because, if you, depending upon the type of plane you have, whether you are on an ATR or a Boeing,
yeah.
But, it's no more than 2 hours at the most.
And we're flying further south, aren't we?
Yes, yeah, you're flying from Udaipur to Mumbai.
Yeah. When we get to Mumbai, this building is incredible. So I'm always referring to Delhi as the gateway of India, but it turns out that the gateway of India is in Mumbai, right?
You're right. So let's say Delhi is the administrative capital. Mumbai is the financial capital of India, and it was the British got it as part of dowry.
Mm-hmm.
The wedding of Queen, Catherine of Braganza. So it's actually a collection of 7 islands interconnected. And the Gateway of India, which is another landmark, was built to mark the visit of King George, the Fifth, and Queen Mary. Yeah. That's when they came to India to attend the very famous Delhi Darbar that was held in the city of Delhi. So it's from the foundation stone is 1911. It was only completed in 1924. Yeah. And it is from the Gateway of India that the last batch of British troops left India in 1947.
Oh, so quite significant then, really.
It is very significant, yes. If those of you have seen the movie Gandhi, well, when Mahatma Gandhi returns from South Africa, that's where he, gets off.
Yeah.
This movie, the Gateway of India is there, the movie.
Wow, absolutely wonderful. The following day we go to, the Elephant Caves. They're on Elephant Island, right?
They actually, it's like an hour, cruise, 1 hour, maybe a little more, depending upon the tide. It's a shared boat that you take from the jetty, adjacent to the Gateway of India, and you go to these islands called Elephanta. And the only reason they're called Elephanta is because when the Portuguese came, they saw a statue, a basalt stone statue of an elephant. Yeah. And they thought there would be more elephants on the island. There were none. But that's how it was called Elephanta. Right. And, they are these absolutely magnificent, cave temples, at Elephanta. Another World Heritage Site. Unfortunately, we do not know much about the creators of this, of these, cave temples. There's very little, known about, the creators. But the main attraction is, is the the cave temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, the Hindu cosmic transformer. And you have to do a short hike up to the caves. But again, a very nice experience, I have to say.
Must see. All these, with all of the carvings, looks absolutely out of this
Yes.
world. We then go to the Prince of Wales Museum. This again fascinates me because I've never seen this building, but what's an incredibly beautiful building. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the National Natural History Museum in London, actually, but just incredibly ornate building. And of course, I'm sure you'll tell us it's wonderful inside as well as outside, of course.
It is actually, these the British built a fort in Mumbai, to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And these buildings were all part, of the fort. 1905, was when the foundation stone of this building was laid. Designed by a British architect, Whitgift. I'm sorry if I'm not getting the name right. But this is a classic example of Indo-Saracenic architecture, which would be Indian, Rajput, Iranian. So it's a very fine hybrid. And it is a very ornate building, especially when you see it for the first time. The dome is quite imposing.
Oh yeah.
Converted, used as a hospital during World War One. And then converted into a museum. Has some really nice, beautiful, collection of Indian, art, especially the gallery of sculptures and paintings are a must see.
Wonderful. Yeah, a must see. We then drive. Do we do? Is this is a drive past? I think
these are all drive past. These are all state buildings now, so you can't go inside. So these are basically just drive pasts that you go through. So that's the High Court. The Mumbai High Court from 1870, designed by another British architect, Fuller. So these are you drive through the fort area of Mumbai with all these iconic buildings.
Yeah.
All right. So coming to Tower of Silence, this is something special. Unfortunately, you are not allowed to go inside. So this is again just a drive past or a photo stop. But there is a very famous community, mostly based in Mumbai, called the Parsis. Now, these Parsis originally came from Iran. Once Islam became the prominent religion, in Central Asia, the Parsi community faced persecution, so they fled, from Iran, and came on the western coastline of India. And since the language they spoke, was Farsi, which is Iranian. The community were called Parsis. And because they believe in purity of elements, they do not cremate, nor do they bury their dead ones. So what they do is they place them on these wells, which are called Tower of Silence. So there's actually a bridge, across, the well where they go and place the body. And the idea was that the vultures, would clean up the flesh. They would, just flip the bridge, and all the remaining bones would go into the well with, an acid well, where they would disintegrate. So this is, so they are called the Tower of Silence. And this is a very prominent business community of India. Some of the most prominent, business families of India are Parsis. And as we were talking earlier, Jed, one of the famous Parsis that you might know would be, is the late Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of the Queen. He was a Parsi as well. And so is the Tata family that owns the Taj Group of hotels.
Of course.
Yes.
Really interesting story, something I wasn't as familiar with. And then we have, of course, the property that we're staying in, the Taj Mahal Palace. And again, Meenakshi will, I'm sure, be able to tell us a little bit more. And when the sun sets on Mumbai, sadly, that is the end of our Golden Triangle tour. And as we say here, the journey ends, or does indeed the journey continue. But at that particular point, that's where we leave you, our wonderful and knowledgeable tour guide, Anil. I just want to say thank you so much for that whistle-stop tour. It's not an easy thing to do, to talk through, all of the incredible history and sites that we experience over the course of 10 days, and to fit that into under an hour. So thank you so much, Anil, for doing your very best for us. We really appreciate it. And hey, we look forward to seeing you in India, and all of our viewers and our guests that book this tour will look forward to seeing you in India very soon, I hope, as well. But until then, take good care.
It would be a real pleasure. Once again, hearty namaste. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay healthy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
And that's it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed the show today, learning about Mumbai. But please do remember to join myself. And tomorrow we have a new guest, the utterly charming Tejashri from Sita will be joining us tomorrow at 2 p.m. as we discover what the options are there for extending our stay in India once the tour is over. We'll be covering Goa, Kerala, and Ranthambore, and it should be a really great show. So I hope you can join us for that. But until then, have a lovely Friday afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow.